With this anime, it looks like we immediately skip to the very end of the Season 1 story arc, and hey, here we are, already playing the finals game to get into Nationals. And this time, it's not because I'm watching things out of order. The main character here is Isagi, and he drives the ball to the far end of the field before getting into a very tricky situation. Everything's riding on him. Everyone in the stands is going crazy. Now, does he take the shot or does he pass to his teammate? All his life, he's been taught that soccer is a game with 11 people on a team together working towards one goal. And his coach and society, the culture of the game, all of his training tells him that he should pass here. So he gives the ball to his friend, who immediately riffs it into the goalpost and they lose 2-0. Everyone is crying and regretting what happened, but there is a sense of camaraderie in their failure. Everyone except for Isagi. He's dead inside. He's regretting what he did, and it eats away at him all day. He doesn't feel connected with everyone else and how they're sharing in this experience of failure, until he finally blows up and lets everything out. But he does this by himself, and not as a member of the team. Now, I know nothing about soccer. The extent of my knowledge is that when I was a really little kid, my cousin played soccer, and I went to one of his games. And I was actually at the nearby playground by myself the entire time. I didn't even watch the game. I thought 11 people on the field at the same time sounded insane. Like maybe I misunderstood what Isagi was saying. Even baseball only has 9 positions, so I had to go look this up. And it's actually true. This floored me. 11 people? What are all these guys even doing? Just standing around? Long story short, it turns out he was scouted and he was selected to participate in a new program. Now this Oikawa-looking guy from the previous game shows up. His name is Kira. Apparently, he's one of the strongest members of the team currently going to Nationals. But honestly, he actually seems like a nice guy. He respects the broad view of the game, he believes in teamwork, and all of that stuff. I don't think him looking like Oikawa is a coincidence, but I am going to get to that later. So at this new facility, it's called BlueLock, Isagi has one final chance to make it onto the Japan national team. And he's not afraid to take it. This insane guy, literally named Ego, comes out and he starts trashing the Japanese philosophy of playing soccer. He thinks that having a team of 11 players with good teamwork is just useless if you can't actually score points. He thinks that creating the strongest forward player in the entire world will lead to Japan having the strongest team in the entire world. I'm clueless about soccer, but even I can understand that the forward is the guy who runs out and tries to score all the points, right? Kira, he's offended about Japanese soccer being trashed, and his teammates and his idols on the national team as well. But Isagi, he's been brewing all of this time with these negative feelings about that decision he made, and it comes into his mind again. Teamwork-based play is telling him that if he passes the ball, there's a higher chance for the team to score a goal. Supposedly that's true, but Ego is telling him that if Isagi's good enough, he doesn't need to pass the ball. There's no chance to have someone else mess up the play for him. He just drives it in himself, and he becomes the strongest forward in all of the world. That's his fantasy. And Isagi is the first one to rush out and join the camp. So here's the actual premise of the show. Out of the 300 players here, they're going to make one of them into a superstar, and that will lead to Japan becoming the strongest team in the world. They get brought into a room where the goal is to play tag with the soccer ball. If you get hit, you're it. Whoever's it when the timer ends will be ejected from the camp. Simple rules, but pretty brutal. We met a lot of new characters for the first time. In general, this camp had a ton of unique character designs, and they really showcased so many of them so fast. It was hard to truly remember any specific one. But here in this room, I remember there's one super jacked looking guy, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. That's probably not a coincidence. And then there was also the sleeping guy. Especially because he played into the game in a very big way, I definitely remembered him. The players go through a variety of different strategies. They're trying to target the weaker opponents, they're going for the sleeping guy while he's asleep, they're physically attacking and restraining each other, because the only foul is if you use your hands. At the end, Isagi has an opportunity to target a player who rolled their ankle, and that would essentially be a free victory. Even Kira basically compromises his own morals in this scene, and he encourages Isagi to go for the easy tag. But then Isagi has this awesome moment where he realizes if he takes the easy way out and just targets the loser, if he keeps doing what he's done all his life, he'll never get any stronger. The only way to truly win is to challenge the strongest opponent in the room. He goes after Kira and washes him out of the academy. I really, really love this ending. So far, I would say that BlueLock is pretty cool. It has an interesting premise. It feels more like a survival game or a battle royale than a sports anime. And they even found a way to make it so that they have stakes. You'll never play on the Japan national team if you wash out of this training program. It's not like a death battle anime, but if you lose here, your life as a pro athlete is just over. Those are real, genuine stakes for these kids. The guy who looks like Oikawa had the same philosophy from Haikyuu, and he says he's going to prove ego wrong, but he just gets taken out before anyone else. So it seems like they're making a statement here. BlueLock is not going to be like Haikyuu. This is a world where only a strong player with a massive ego can survive. Now, Haikyuu is one of my favorite anime, so we'll have to see how I feel about that. But something being different doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that I get to experience something fresh and unique. But the ending? Oh man, I really did love the ending. Putting all other feelings aside, they've established one of the major themes of BlueLock masterfully. You can't grow unless you're willing to challenge yourself. Bullying the weaker people who are below you, that's not going to help you improve. If you want to get better, you have to keep looking for the strongest opponent and try to surpass him or her, no matter what sport you play or even what goal you have. I think this is a great message. I'm someone who can obsessively study and practice when I get into a new hobby or a sport for the first time. And I have a ton of respect for players who are willing to do the same. I still remember the first time I received a compliment on my curveball from a spectator. After practicing that pitch for hours and hours, I really hope they showcase that to some extent here as well, with Isagi or even someone else, putting aside every hour of their day studying and learning new techniques or practicing their physical execution of those techniques. But I'll put aside my wish list and just say I'm looking forward to the next episode. If you want to see more BlueLock videos, you have to leave a like or a comment, okay? But for now, enjoy the rest of your day.